Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain
Good afternoon and welcome back to Laurel Park. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Gabby Gaudette, joined by Keith Fustel here to tackle this 11-race program. And boy, what a card it is. We have 7 races on the turf, and we've got 3 turf stakes as well, and a very enticing card.
It is a good card. There's a couple value plays along this sequences today in this 11-race card. Really, I'm excited about. I'm going to try to pounce and really take advantage of some vulnerable favorites, I believe, in some of those multi-race gimmicks.
And what about yesterday? We had I keep telling everybody, we had like a protective bubble around us because I saw lightning all across the horizon. It looked like it was raining everywhere, but at Laurel Park.
We really escaped. I thought it was really going to get ugly. I got reports from a little bit north up where I live that it was really, really bad.
South, too,
for
me.
And then when it came in, you guys were like the 8th or 9th race, but the set looked great. As dark as it got and everything lit up, it was perfect. It's about as good as it looked.
We had good lighting.
Yes,
that's
you did.
For sure.
Yes, you
all
did.
right. Well, I was happy that we got to get through all of those races yesterday, and we are fast and firm on the turf today. We'll get to those track and weather conditions momentarily, but first wanted to remind you of a couple things that are coming up. We've got on July 30th, on Sunday, July 30th, we have the famous Laurel Park Crab Feast. So that's going to be happening on the grandstand apron from 1 to 5 p.m. You've got sodas, draft beer. It's $60 per person before 7:24, and then $65 per person after that. You can go call that number for tickets. Cold beer, hot steamed crabs. It's going to be a great day here at Laurel Park on July 30th. We also have Kids Day coming up, too. That's going to be happening on Saturday, July 29th. So just the day prior to that will be happening from 1 to 5 p.m. We've got pony rides, petting zoo, airbrush tattoo artist, face painter, and crafts. So it's free admission for that day, too. So bring the kids out. You know, it's always a good family fun day. The dads can drink their beer and bet. The moms can bet. And the kids can, you don't really have to worry about the kids because they've got plenty of activities to keep them busy.
Let the kids drive home. I remember a couple times my dad coming out to the races. I didn't have my license yet. And, hey, here are the keys. You're going to get us home. Yeah.
Things are a little different now.
I got some good practice driving home from Pimlico. I can tell you that on a few occasions.
I can remember driving my dad around on our old farm, and my sister. There was a story that I'll tell you off air, but we had a little bit of a crash landing there when I was younger. But we also have something going on. We don't have a board for this, but wanted to remind everybody that's happening in the grandstand. We have a Get Well Soon banner for Ben's cat. He actually was just released from the equine hospital in Kentucky, so he's slowly but surely recovering, so we wish him well. But if you're interested in signing that banner, head up to the grandstand for more information. We'll get to our carryovers and some of our featured wagers today. We've got 3 featured wagers, and we start things off in the opener with that early pick 5 and that super high 5. We've got no carryovers in the late pick 5 or that super high 5, but we do have a small carryover in the rainbow 6. That's 16.56 and change. They almost took it down yesterday.
You were giving it out, right? That was your ticket.
I had a single on the 3 Billy the Bull, and he got beat by a nose at the wire.
That was tough.
Very tough.
They're tough to feed. Nose bob. I mean, it looked like 16th pole he was going to turn away the bid, and then just lost the bob. But those are the things. Had a lot of weight to carry. You, me, and Stan.
Too much weight to carry.
He ran great. Yeah,
he's such an honest horse, and I believe Mary Epler claimed him yesterday.
There was a couple shakes in. Yeah, she won the shake.
So that'll be pretty interesting to see when he comes back. So we'll get to the track and weather conditions today. It is so much nicer today than what it's been for the past week. It's been hot and humid today. You couldn't ask for better weather. We're going to get into the low 80s. It's going to be sunny. We are fast and firm.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I'd like to speaking of cold beer, I got a little bit waiting at the house. We've got a 90th birthday party for the father-in-law today, so I've got to get back to that a little
Happy
bit later.
birthday
in the
to the
car.
father-in-law.
Papa D, yeah, he's still rolling.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Little bocce ball. You want to come? You play any
yes.
bocce? Yeah.
I used to be on a bocce ball league in Baltimore.
Well, stop on up.
I wasn't very good. That's why I quit.
That's okay.
All right. Well, get a couple beers in me. Maybe I'll get a little bit better. At least think I'll be getting a little bit better. All right. We have 11 races on tap. We've got a lot of stuff to get through. So we'll get right into the action. Super High Five kicks off in the first race. No carryover. But we also do kick off that early pick 5 as well. Races 1 through 5. Love some of these multi-race bets today. But we'll start it off on the Fort Marcy at 6 furlongs, Keith. And we've got Crossroads in here. And it doesn't show it on the DRF.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this race is for strictly Virginia bred or Virginia sired horses. It's a maiden special weight sprinting on the turf.
Yep.
So, that said, Crossroads, I believe we wanted to show a video spotlight replay last time out.
I thought she ran quite well in an open against the boys, actually, in that race. That was also a Virginia-bred race that afternoon on the big day. But, yeah, Crossroads I thought was going to be able to get clear in this race, but did not. Took pressure, a 24-1 shot to the outside, really hounded her the entire way. Internal fractions, solid, 21-4, 45-1. And you see Holiday Hopes, who's in this race today, came up the inside, swung out, and closed up to grab second. But, you know, Crossroads trying very, very hard the last 16th of a mile, a slight little fade. I don't think there's a ton of speed in this race, and I've seen some of these 6 furlong turf races, not a distance we run a lot of. Sneak away, a little breather around the turn is going to be the key for Crossroads, and I think she can carry it and maybe upset Holiday Hopes.
Well, we'll see perhaps or show some speed from the rail. I agree with you. It looked like if you saw the other horse that she was kind of dueling with early, that horse finished way back, but she was actually game enough to at least hang on for a little piece of it. But I believe Stan Salter a couple days ago caught up with Mike Trombetta, the trainer of Crossroads, to see what he had to say about this 3-year-old filly.
Okay.
Crossroads has run twice. Her first race was kind of throw out. She didn't get out of the gate real good, and the track conditions weren't to her likings. Then we ran her back on the grass. She showed some life. She showed some speed, you know, and she ran a respectable race. So she should continue to improve and do okay.
All right, and that's a word from Mike Trombetta. And I agree. I don't think you can really fault her for her last performance, and she comes into the race with a nice bullet workout, a blowout of 3 furlongs up there at Fair Hill. So instead, though, I went to the 4 Brainchild. I was interested in this particular horse just because last time out, the past couple of starts, I don't really think that she wants to go a distance of ground. I think she really wants to cut back to sprint distances. And in the Jamestown last year, she actually ran a respectable race, the 3rd, beaten just 2 lengths. So since then, they've given her added distance, but she wants less.
Yeah, she should fire a good last quarter of a mile in this race. Looking back at the race off the layoff, the blinkers went on, a little bit of trouble at the break, hampered by an outside post. Looks like a rush-up move into a slower pace. The leaders might have had things a little bit easier up front, and just a fade. Yeah, anything close to that race back in September in the Jamestown puts her right into the mix in this race. I expect a better run. And, yeah, Niall Seville, and now we're going Niall Seville off to Holiday Hopes, who I do believe is still going to be your favorite. A good effort last time out. Worked a great trip, got over to the inside from that 8 post. She's going to be awfully tough, the one to beat, no doubt about it. In here.
So is the 7 Holiday Hopes in here, too.
Yep.
So she'll get pretty decently bet, but going for that upset with the 2 Crossroads. We'll get to the second race. This is a maiden $40,000 event, 6 furlongs onto the main track. Scratch the 7, Mike the Tiger here. And it really does look like the 4 Super Buddies race to lose. So we'll take a look at this performance last time out. This is 2 times coming out of the gate.
Yeah, June 25th. Great, guys. Didn't really break the sharp. First time for Ferris Allen. And a pretty good, honest 40 claimer that got to the split with the with the condition, and you see a little bump and a little steady leaving the break. What I like is some nice acceleration, though. This horse really picked it up and got into the race after about a quarter of a mile and digs on quite well. Actually goes to the lead after a half mile and to the outside. Perennial just going a little bit better. But yeah, this horse only cedes about a half a length, maybe or so, this last eighth of a mile. Holds on over Major Metro, who we're going to see in this race, couldn't get off that left lead through the last eighth. But Super Buddy with a more alert break might have the tactical advantage in this field.
It was a little bit of a messy race, wasn't it, for
Yes, it was.
Super Buddy? Just because, like you said, he didn't break that well, got a little bit bumped around coming out of the gate, and then just rushed up in between horses. And you never want to see something like that, especially going 7/8. I think it's a very hard distance to kind of recover from. It's one thing if maybe you're going 2 turns and you can have the ability to settle for a moment, but it's just impossible when you're going 7/8. So hopefully he gets off to a better start. I think he's the horse to beat. Other than that, we have the one Zephyr Train towards the inside for Dove Houghton, who actually ran a good race, but that was on the 28th of October of last year, so has to overcome the big layoff and the rail post position. Yeah,
Zephyr Train, I think, is a user. Might sneak away at an okay price. Was down inside a long way back in late October when this track we saw through the fall into the winter. The inside wasn't the place to be on a consistent basis. Made a good late run in between horses. Key race. Chance of Luck has come back well. Relentless Strike has come back and run well. And I think optional claimers, higher price optional claimers at Tampa, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Zephyr Train with a good run. Early Gray's the horse that kind of intrigues me in here. All races so far on the turf. Now we're going to try the dirt. Blinkers went on last time, a little bit more life, second time in the barn for Schoenthal. She is a half to ring knocker who's 6 for 23 sprinting on the dirt, made upwards of, I think $300,000 sprinting. I'll take the flyer price. Super Buddy clearly the one to beat, but Schoenthal, he might sneak in here at the drop from Maiden Special Week. Going to go in for the tag. Early Gray, slight upset chance.
He very well could. I don't think that this horse is impossible, and I saw the pedigree there, but I did look at a stat from turf to dirt with his maiden sprinters, only 3 for 19 and a 91-cent negative ROI. So that's what led me to try to pursue. I'm going to pursue Super Buddy one more time because I think he's the best horse in the race.
No doubt.
If he gets off to a better start there, but no harm in trying to go against the favorite. That is race 2. We'll get to the first of our 3 stakes races. Again, 3 turf stakes races today. They all came up pretty good. We've got we head out to the Kelso at 1 mile and a 16th for the Caveat Stakes, and obviously the 3. We'll start off with the 3 and then take a look at Just Howard. But bonus points, he's going to be pretty attractive at the windows, considering that he's coming out of Grade 2 company last time out.
Yeah, going to garner play. Pletcher coming in with a horse. Yeah, is he really a turf horse? I think that's my biggest question.
Yeah,
he ran a 79 figure last time, which puts him right in the mix. A repeat of that effort puts him there, but yeah, I guess you can give him excuses as a 2-year-old. He had trouble at the break. Then he called a yielding turf course. Last time out, had a clear trip, no real run. Maybe the 4, the other Pletcher goes out and tries to help enhance things and get it hot and heavy on the front end so that this horse can set up for a late run. But I think No More Talk ran pretty well last time at a big price, close to 40-1. Got involved in a pretty good extended duel from the 3/8 pole to mid-stretch. Just a little bit of a fade. This horse, I think, can go out and maybe walk the dog or just kind of sit off of the Pletcher speed, make a move, and hold on at the best price. I think it's between the 1, 2, 3, and 5 when you really break it down.
That's what makes this race so difficult, because Jaron's Son, he clearly looks like a horse that's going to be on the lead. Maybe try to create some pace for the 3 bonus points. No More Talk, like you said. I've liked this horse. I've picked him every single start. So now I'm finally off of him. He's probably going to win, but I think he's going to be a forward factor in here. Just Howard, though, he's not that slow, and he draws a good rail post position, so he should be able to save ground and take the advantage of that position. Now, he did wind up getting his maiden score last time out at Pimlico. He beat Belgian that came back to win on the dirt, and Surprise Twist, who got a 76 Beyer speed figure next out on the turf. But prior to that, he kept good company line. Cheyenne's Colonel, Super Dude, Macarios. I mean, these are quality allowance, if not stakes horses.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He keys up against the right kind of horses. That's why I'm between him and the 5. I think they ran against the right kind. Just Howard, a nice ride last time, was able to work a trip out, was 3 wide from that 9 post, but then dropped in nicely to lodge his bid. The blinkers added a little bit more focus. You saw more punch from the 3/16 to the 16th pole, and that horse went on and won clear. I think he is the one to beat.
All right, so we both think that the 3 bonus points is a little bit vulnerable in here. I agree with you. I like his dirt races a little bit better than his turf. But if you're Todd Pletcher and you see this race come up in a Maryland bred, there's no harm in trying. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see how the pace scenario unfolds in there with that shortened field. We'll get to the 4th race on the card, and this does kick off that middle pick 4. We head out to the main track at 6 furlongs for this non-winners of 2 for $10,000. And I do have a middle pick 4 ticket, so let's take a look. Some of these undercard races gave me a bit of a tough time, but I'm going to be using 4 horses here, the 1A, 4, 5, and the 6. The next race, I took a very bold single. I'm going against my sister's ledge and landing on the 4. I'm Betty G for Mike Maker. I will tell you why momentarily. I know you're just anxiously waiting here.
Yes.
We're going 2, 9, 10, and the 6th race, and then the 7th, 4, 10, 11, 12, the one of the other featured races today. So $24 is going to have to do it to me. I wanted to find a single in the sequence, and that's where I go to with Mike Maker. And Mike Maker we trust on the turf, right?
Yep.
We'll go to the 4th race, though, and scratch the 1 Awesome Type in here. And you wind up landing on the 5 Enduring Warrior for trainer Donald Barr, who does seem to be taking a big drop in class.
Yeah, I think this horse with a scratch of Awesome Type, I'm looking. I mean, I know Yearbook's got some speed, but Enduring Warrior showed a little bit more life down inside of some better horses in arrears. Legal precedent last time. I got chewed up in the early pace, but you go back to some of those races, the Laurel race, the Pimlico race, has enough. I think he's the speed of the speed. He gets sent away with a clear break. I think he can dictate it.
And you also, I do agree. I think he's going to be very forwardly placed in here, especially with the scratch of the 1. Yearbook, I don't know how honest his speed is, but we also have a horse who didn't really show speed in the past 2 starts, but has been known to show speed against Allowance Company at Penn National in the other half of the entry, the 1A, Fear or Be Feared. So he could be close. Other than that, we've got St. Ignatius, who's taking a drop in class from Maiden Special Weight Company last time out.
Yeah.
I don't think this is really a crazy drop, though, because his numbers fit this race.
This is where you spot this horse. If you're an owner, Robert Bone, he wants to win races. He's not going to pull any punches. It's right to where they belong. This horse belongs at the 10,002 in life, and I'll tell you why. You look at the finish time of that last race at Penn National. Yeah, it was a maiden special weight, but non-winners of 3 in life boys for 5,000 ran a tick faster. This is where he belongs. He got a great setup last time off of a duel. Maybe he gets the same kind of thing today. I still am going to respect him. I'm going to use him into the mix. I think Enduring Warrior. Fear or Be Feared is the main pace, threat, I believe. But this jam job by Donna Barr, I think, gets it done.
All right, let's hope so. I used 4 horses to start that middle pick 4. We'll take a look at the 5th, guys, and then we'll go to commercial break before the pick 6. We head out to the Fort Marcy at a mile and a 16th for the Pearl Necklace Stakes, and we've got my sister's ledge in here. And we'll start off with some sound from Mike Trombetta. We caught up with him about this 3-year-old filly, first time now trained by Mike Trombetta.
Well, the filly's kind of new. The guy that had these horses down in Florida, a couple of them were Maryland bred, so he decided to bring them on up this way. And, she's been training good. I think she'll do a little better on the turf than she's done on the dirt breezing. She kind of has mediocre breezes, but she's trained well. She's very forward, and, hopefully in here she'll run good.
All right, that was Mike Trombetta on my sister's ledge. Figures to take a lot of money because she is the proven commodity, so to speak. This is a race that has a lot of sprinters stretching out, a lot of dirt horses going to the turf. I will talk about her over her last performance, and this was in the Honey Rider down south at Gulfstream on the 6th of May. She gets Lasix for the first time today. And I know she experienced trouble coming down the stretch, Keith, but prior to that and even afterwards, kind of just thought she was running in place a little bit.
A little bit even. Might have been a little optical illusion, and you see that sometimes when the wheels kind of back up to you a little bit. She, a willing effort, but Yeah, I just think she's proven enough going long against the rest of these types. She is the one to beat. I think she's going to be lower now than my 5-2. I think she'll settle in probably 8-5, 9-5. Got her line a little high. Riley's Choice will take play, but I'm interested to see what you like about I'm Betty G.
All right,
Yep.
Here we go.
All right.
Actually, before we get to Betty G, let's talk about Phase the Nation here because
okay.
Stan did catch up with Phil Schoenthal a couple days ago to get his take on this filly not only going to the turf today, but also stretching out on distance.
Well, she's, just obviously ran a real good race, and 3-year-old Maryland-bred fillies, your opportunities to run in black type of races, are kind of few and far between. There's a couple of them here this summer, so we want to take the advantage of the short field, take a shot, and see what happens. Well, I was happy she drew the outside. She's had some gait issues in the past, and so she'll be the last horse to load and not have to stand in there too long, I hope. And I think that there's some speed in there coming out of turf sprints and sprinting races, so I think she'll probably sit right off of them, and hopefully we'll have horses at the quarter pole to keep on going.
And like Phil said, she's clearly not a turf distance horse, but this race comes up, and why not give it a shot? She's a filly that's been in good form lately. I don't necessarily have a lot of confidence in her here just because her turf race was so subpar compared to her dirt races.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't make, you can't really abuse her too much for that. I mean, the field got left at the field. Uniqua just went out there and whistled. I just worry about the distance. I think she'll get position with a good break. I do think she'll make some kind of impact, maybe leaving the far turn, but I don't know if she's going to be able to hang around from the quarter pole home with the likes, of maybe Haley's Flip, My Sister Sledge, or your filly on Betty G.
All right, let's take a look at a stat for Mike Maker. This is I'm Betty G, and this is what he's doing with this horse. A maiden winner last out on the turf, stretching out from sprints to routes. He's 33%, positive ROI of $3.71, finishing in the money almost 60% of the time. Okay. First time for the barn, she, to use your term, whistled on the turf. It was, and you don't know exactly why she did it. Was it the surface change? Was it the addition of blinkers? Was it the barn change? Was it the drop in class? Right. There were so many things that changed with her. I have a feeling that it was probably the surface change and probably the drop in class. But Mike Maker, I've seen him do this so many times, especially down in Florida with his turf horses. Okay. And I'm going to take a shot. I think that she will be, she potentially could be the speed of the speed, the way that she ran last time out. And My Sister's Ledge might just have to run her down. Yeah, she's going to get, I think she's going to get outside pressure by Riley's Choice. She's fresh. She's shown good dirt speed, decent numbers as a 2-year-old. She's going to make her 3-year-old debut here for Horacio de Paz and Sagamore Farm. You see the mare, Shared Account. She was pretty good. Breeders' Cup filly mare turf winner back in 2010. Like $1.5 million, she banked and was able, kind of similar running style. She was tactical enough and made moves, but once again, this is asking a little bit off the layoff, especially with a horse down to her inside like that. She's going to have to take aim off of. I just think everything kind of converges. My Sister's Sledge. Look, Adorable Miss has gone up. She ran big in the Penn Oaks and came back to run big in another stakes. I think Haley's Flip is interesting. Maybe the higher price that you get of the two. Gary Capps, I know I've got them lined at both at 6-1. Lucky Malibu, a little bit more experience over the grass course, but you look on the breeding, there is some ability there on the turf, bottom side for Haley's Flip, and she's just got that grinding running style that just might fit perfectly here to pick up a piece. Yeah, the mare, she ran okay going against New York's bred stakes company, going a distance of ground on the turf, so she could be right there. That is the Pearl Necklace Stakes on the Fort Marcy. We will step aside for a short moment, and when we come back, we will take a look at the second half of the card, the 20-cent Rainbow 6, late pick 5, and the late pick 4 right after this.
The best bets at Laurel Park are the pick 5s, and we have 2 of them. The early pick 5 starts in race 1 and is a mandatory payout. The late pick 5 is the last 5 races of the day and has carryover potential. Both pick 5s at Laurel Park have an industry low 12% takeout. The pick 5s at Laurel Park, your best bet.
Welcome back to Today at the Races. Now looking at the 6th race on the card, it does start the 20-cent Rainbow 6, and we have a small carryover in there. We've got just over $1,600. They almost took it down yesterday. It was just a nose away from all the marbles there. Billy the Bull, there was a single on him in yesterday's finale. So we start with this $1,600 carryover. And we start at 6 furlongs on the main track for this maiden 10,000. And I think that if you're playing this pick 6, I haven't looked at your picks, but I think that you can feel confidently in perhaps using the 2, 9, and 10, hoping for the best.
Agreed. Yeah, I've got a late pick 5 ticket, but if I were going to start my pick 6, that's who I was going to go with. 2, 9, and 10. That's who you come up with. Obviously, we know Wazala. We know what she is.
All too well.
She's going to be speed from the outside. She's going to get the lead at some point, and then I think she might get run down. She's going to be a heavy favorite in here. I've got her 8 to 5. She could settle in lower. Little Miss JoJo, I think she'll do okay turning back in distance. But I'm interested in the 2, Star 2 for Mike Girales and Joseph E. Colgate. A claim back in November for 30. Obviously didn't like what they got. They're going to freshen her up and jam her. But I look at the owner-trainer combination. The last 2 years, these guys are 9 for 30 with a $3.65 ROI. That's enough. I think they're not taking any prisoners here. We're going to drop. We're going to make a little run from off the pace and wear down Wazala in the shadow of the wire.
She's always been a bit dicey from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, her first start was a big head scratcher. She came back to run an okay race against maiden $30,000 company at Keeneland. So a gutsy claim there for $30,000. Now off the layoff in for the $10,000 tag and draws the rail post position with the scratch of the 1. So I do prefer the 9 Little Miss JoJo. I think she can run the field down after Wazala cedes that lead as she usually does. Now we'll get to the 7th race. This does kick off the late pick 5. We head out to the Kelso at 1 mile and a 16th for this very nice 2 other than allowance optional claimer. And you took a stab at the late pick 5.
Yeah.
So let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm going to, everything's going to kind of hinge on Morticia in race number 10. But we're going to go 3 deep to get it started. I really like Shuggan here with In Charge of Me, the 4, 6, and 12. Race number 8 with the 1, 2, 6, and 7. A little bit of a spread race. I had a tough time lining that race. I think Shug's horse is going to be tough again. I think he comes live today. I'm going to go 1, 2, 6, 7 in there. Storm Net, a little price shot. 2 deep. Really like Stay Home or Pachi Cruz as price plays to get it done in the 9th. Singling on Morticia. 3 deep in the last with the 1 full rate. If you want to dial it down a little bit, How's Your Sugar looks awfully tough in the last. So, $36 ticket.
I agree. I also singled on Morticia in my late pick 4 ticket.
Okay.
So I think she's a pretty reasonable single in the sequence. And so $36 will do it for the late pick 5. That is a very affordable ticket, and I love it. So we'll start it off here with this race. And the 2 real speeds in this race and the 2 class horses are both to the outside. The 11 Freudian for Tom Morley and now Gianna's Dream make the rider Victor Carrasco drawing in off the also eligible for Mike Maker. To me, though, I said they were the 2 main speeds, but to me, there's a lot of speed in here.
There's plenty. And especially you got to start at the rail with Emelina. Her only shot is to go ahead and go, and when she wants to lay it down on the front end, she can go, and she's gonna maybe discourage some of these. Freudian and I think Gianna's Dream from a class standpoint, they may hold the edge at the distance of 1 mile and a 16th. I think they're a little vulnerable. I like them better at 1 mile. I think they both can rate off of Emelina, and I think they'll make a move maybe almost in tandem after her. But I don't know if they're going to handle the onslaught of the 4 In Charge of Me for Shug McGee. I like this horse shortening up in distance, a little, second off a little bit of a break. This is a great angle for him. Look at the race 3 back. That's what I'm going off that race at Keeneland. At 2 other than behind Antone, gone away right there. We saw come back and bury Emelina. I think this field falls right into her lap. In Charge of Me, the 4 horse, and I think you'll get somewhere around 3-7-2.
Yeah, I think the pace flow is going to be right up her alley. I love the fact that she's cutting back in distance. I don't think she's a 1.25 mile and a half type of horse. I think she's more handy than that. I think the mile and a 16th is going to be perfect for her. Yeah, I mean, look who she ran against on the 14th of April, Antono, who won the Just a Game. She got a 101 by her speed figure. We're talking about horses who are in a different area code, right?
Yes.
And so even though her form might be a little bit dirtied up in the past couple of starts, I think she's capable of much better versus this competition. And Freudian, the reason why I go against her, and I like Gianna's Dream a little bit better than her, because I think Gianna's Dream can rate. I think she's more prone to be able to be a little bit more tactical. 40 Ann, not so much. It looks like she needs the lead. In the past couple of starts, she really has had everything go her way. Look at the fractions down the fairgrounds. Look at the fractions here when she went wire to wire. It's not going to be the same case.
No, and she was life and death 2 races back when she won here at a mile, and I don't think things set up really well for her on the front end. If you're looking for price shots underneath, maybe in trifectas, supers, Mickey Rocks for Pops, I agree with you. And I think maybe even good roll conscription. So it's a fun race to tackle. I think we agree. Would you key in charge of me first or second and then working around with those price shots? Maybe go ahead and hope that the lower prices of 40 and the 12 run out and get some of these other horses. We'll be 10, 12, 15 to 1 in here underneath.
I love Nikki Rocks for Pops because I thought the race at Pimlico was okay. I know that was over yielding ground, but she was up against it. And I think Tis Something Royal is going to be the horse that gets bet because she finished in front of her. But she was able to just slow it down on the front end and still not do anything in that race. So Nikki Rocks for Pops was well against it in terms of the pace scenario. And like I said, it's going to be a different scenario today.
Agreed.
All right, that is the 7th. We'll get to the 8th. First level allowance. We head out to the Fort Marcy at a mile and a 16th. And we'll take a look at my late pick 4 ticket. It's a fun sequence. I, too, did single on Morticia. So my ticket's going to be $24. There we go. 1, 2, 5, and 7 to start things off in this first level allowance. Going to be using the 1, 4, 7 and the second leg of the sequence, the 2 Morticia singling, and then I'm going to be using 4 horses in the final leg. You didn't use the 8 in there. I forget, All Alone. I didn't really care to use him just because he's so dependent on the pace, but he's coming out of okay races, so I'm going to use him protectively in there. So that's going to be the late pick 4, and the first level allowance field. We'll start off with the 2, Enough is Enough, coming out of a victory last time out. Now, this was against Restricted Maryland Bred Allowance Company, and he really, I thought, got a perfect trip there under Trevor McCarthy to get the job done. But he's got some back class and back numbers that I think make him competitive in this race.
No doubt about it. He's steadily rounding in, I think, to his best form, and he did. He got $1 million ride there at the quarter pole, tipped off the heels. Real dicey move by Trevor, but the horse leveled off nicely and was able to kind of wear down that loose leader, Just Call Me KL, who hasn't come back to run as well as I thought he would. And this is another situation in race 8, Gabby, that I think you're talking about a little bit dirtied up form. Maybe the 1 Beale Street Dancer again. Tricky race to line. I think she'll probably come down off of that 9-2 due to the connections, and we have a scratch of the 8. Want to be a player, but I look at company lines and just toss the last. 2 back, Manitoulins come back around 97s, 96s. Carbon Data, another going. I mean, these are really, really good horses comparatively to what Enough is Enough has been facing. This relief is going to be enough for Beale Street Dancer.
I think so too. I thought the 5 Cryptos Holiday had some back races that were a little bit intriguing. I wasn't crazy about, or it wasn't an awful performance last time out. When you originally look at this race and you're kind of going through, with the exception of the 1 and the 2, you're like, is this a dirt sprint race or like a dirt race? I'm very confused. So I think you can feel confidently and maybe just using those horses who have the proven distance turf form like the 1, 2, and 5.
Yeah, you had some speed taken out with the 8, and I thought the way this race was going to set up, it was going to be a very honest pace, which is certainly going to help the chances of Beale Street Dancer. Enough is Enough. I think Shug's got this other horse bombs away, right? Stays in and looks awfully quick early to maybe things real hot and up on the front end. So price play in here would be the 6, Storm Net for King Leatherberry. I think this is a nice protect move going up into the A other than off of that 3 in life victory. Didn't get a ton of flow up in front last time, but I like the way Bird Humor came back to win yesterday. That race was better than what it appears. I think Storm Net can move up in class and get a piece of this at a price.
All right, I thought that was a tricky race in terms of those multi-race bets. You could be right that the 1 Beale Street Dancer just might win on class alone and a good post position there too. But we'll get to the 9th race. This is 5.5 furlongs on the main track for this allowance optional claiming event. And another tricky race, I thought. I mean, we have Stay Home, who you like as a little bit of a price play. I almost wanted to pick Pachi Cruz. The reason why, I think he's going to get the right pace.
Yeah, I look at this. First time Claudio. It was in Neil Morris's barn. Was in Jose Corrales' barn. all over the place. Been to Woodbine, Laurel Parks, you name it. He's back home now. He's settled in not a bullet work, but a really strong work leading into this. And I think this 5.5 furlong distance is perfect. Got the jump early in his career, a good number at 2. Questionable speed types abound in this race. Thurman Merman, he really got hounded by Expedited Vision. Couldn't hold him off first goal, coming off of synthetics and turf, uplifting. I think Marty with the party, if anything lasts out of the speed, I think it's him. But Pachi Cruz is really intriguing. First time gelding. The 2-back try wasn't bad at Parks. I know it was back in January. This horse is fresh. Worth his salt, second place finisher. He could run okay. He was all right here. He ran in the mid to high 60s. I think it's the 1 or 7. I really like these two. I'm going to use the 6 a little bit. My multi-races, working it down from the pick 5s, the pick 4s, pick 3s. 1 and 7, main concentration.
All right.
This race.
I use the 1, 4, and 7 just because, yes, I agree with you. Stay Home actually ran a very good race last time out because he was positioned early on the rail. It looked like he was pulling pretty hardly. He had to take back, angle out, make that other move. And I wonder if he's going to be caught in the same situation today with the rail post position. Yeah. Maybe not, because there is a lot of speed in here, and he could just find a better position early. I think Thurman Merman is going to go out there. First Goal is going to go out there. We've got, like you said, Cherokee Spirit, Marty with the party. We've got all these horses that like to be forwardly placed.
Yes.
Uplifting is better, probably on the lead, but I also do think he might be one of the more tactical horses of the speeds. He's been capable of stalking off the pace before, and I think that might be a strategy for them today.
Agreed. I think he can sit just off of it. We saw a race when I think it was the Maiden Breaking Store, right? We had a big push on some Perkins horse in there, and he dug in tenaciously, but I don't think he needs to lead. I think he can sit just off of it, but that last 16th of a mile, 70 yards is going to be tough for quite a few of these. I just think things just set up nicely for
Here
the 1
comes
7.
Pachi Cruz running from off the
and like
pace.
I say, I think you should get an okay, price on him.
Absolutely.
Watch him be pounded down to like 7 and 2 or something.
Well, if we do, it's probably a good sign, right, for him to win, a good omen. All right, we'll get to the 10th race. This is probably my favorite of the 3 stakes races today, and this is the Stormy Blues heading out to the Kelso at 5.5 furlongs. And we have your single, my single, the favorite in the race, the 2 Morticia. And last time out, we saw her getting the victory up at Belmont in the Soaring Softly Stakes. And this was such a tenacious win, Keith. She was pretty much cornered by Lull coming down the stretch. There was a little bit of bumping going back and forth here, and you thought that she just could not hold sway into the finish line, but she surely did. I like the fact that she's very fast, but she's also pretty responsive to her rider. You can see that she responded to Jose Lezcano, and look at how she dug in
just
there.
Just tenacious as can be. Look at her wins: a nose, 3/4, and a length. It's almost like maybe, I don't know if she waits on horses.
She might.
But she knows that. All right, it means business. When you're going to hook me, you're not going to go by me. I think the way this race sets up, I think she stalks and pounds. I think she wins clear. I think this might be more of a daylight win for Morticia. She's going to be down off of that 2-1 again. She's probably going to be 7-5, 6-5 when it's all said and done. But she gets a great setup. Look at the company lines. 2 back, La Cornell, though. That horse, that's the Cassie runner, right?
Yeah,
won the
Royal
Edgewood.
Ascot.
Yeah, won the Edgewood down there on Derby weekend,
and
if
then
I'm
went
not mistaken.
Yep.
Okay.
And then went to Royal Ascot.
And who was 4th in that race? And there was a New Money Honey, a Grade 1 winner. So Morticia's just faced better, and she's got a lot of speed to run at. She doesn't need to lead. This shortening back up to 5.5 is perfect.
Yeah, and I thought her last race was really good for a non-graded stakes. I mean, we saw Lull. She ran in the Breeders' Cup for Christophe Clement last year. Bellevue, she's a really nice horse. She came back to be 2nd in the Wild Applause. So I just think from class purposes and cutting back in distance, I think everything really goes her way. Jose Lezcano ships in to keep the mount as well. That's always good to see. But for argument purposes, if you try to beat her, how do you beat her, and with who?
Price shot, I think, would be Sylphide. I don't know what's happened the last 2, but the light bulb has gone on, a drastic improvement. She had something left in the tank with the maiden special weight score last time out. You see the comment taken in hand late. They don't give that out too often at Park. So I think she's hit the right kind of stride. She's outside. I think she gets the first run of Smiling Causeway, who was really, really, really fast early. She got away with 21-1, 43-4. And say she got away with it. She was able to establish that. It was a race kind of devoid of speed. They may have to harness it a little bit if she's going to be able to hold on. But man, what what an eye-catching move she made around the turn, opening up 5 or 6 lengths.
Yeah, she's bred top and bottom to like the turf, too.
Yep.
So I think that this was the appropriate surface change for her. Fergal Lynch just simply under a hand ride to the finish line. The only issue there, as you said, she wound up being able to open up on the field that day. I, too, don't think she faced much. We haven't seen any horse come out of there to win.
No, we haven't. And you saw her switch leads a couple times still, maybe a little bit green, trying to get it all put together. And you're right. Silphide should lay a lot closer than what the rest of the field did to her that day. Deer Valley, she's honest. This is her level. She fits. I just don't know. I think she's a cut below Morticia.
Yeah, I agree. And the only other intriguing new shooter could be the 4 Bodie's Dream here. This 3-year-old filly by Bodie Meister. She's out of a Smoke Glackland mare that makes her a half to a horse by the name of Wyeth, who was a 3-time winner on the turf, and he actually got one of his best career Beyer speed figures of a 94. So I'm not saying she's going to run into that, but maybe she will like the surface change. And she was precocious. I know Todd liked her earlier on, and she's just kind of tailed off in the past 2 starts.
Barn that doesn't run a whole lot of horses, but when they show up here, they show up and they usually run well. She's going to have to show, if she doesn't get the lead, have to do something she's never done, is really pass horses with the likes of these other speeds to her outside. But I highly respect this outfit. A good barn to bet on.
Me too. We get to the 11th and final race, heading out to the Fort Marcy, a mile and a 16th for this restricted allowance race. And we're talking about How's Your Sugar looking pretty tough in here. And I would have to agree with you. A good post can sit just off the pace, comes back to the turf, stretches out in distance, all things that really legitimizes him versus the rest of the field.
Yeah, I agree. Grecian Prince has got some speed along with Clubman, but How's Your Sugar? I like this move. We got a nice little tightener on the dirt going 6 furlongs. Against a really red hot horse, and It's the Journey.
Yes.
But it's fared very well against maybe a little bit better horses. No Bull Addiction. I keep chasing him. I think he's the second best horse in a race. He just trouble. He can't elude it. He cannot.
Is plagued by trouble.
Yes, I mean I could just show a video of him every time, but I'm not going to bore you with that.
Here. Yeah, he's always. But one of these days he's going to work out a trip. And he's going to pay pretty nicely, and it's the day that you probably don't
use them. But I will be using them, no doubt, today in the multi-races.
I'm going to be using the 7 Apollo Doro de Damasco for Carl Duran. I just thought this horse ran an improved race with more distance at 7.5 furlongs at Delaware, 2 starts back. Probably 5.5, 5 furlongs sprinting on the turf is just a touch too short. It just doesn't look like he can keep up with the rest of those turf sprinters. So I think this is the right move. Whether or not he's good enough is another question, but stretching out to 2 turns I do like, and the 8 All Alone, I mean this horse just needs total collapse of the pace in front of him. I mean he falls way back, but he made an honest run last time. It would not be a complete shock, but How's Your Sugar, No Bull Addiction, I do think they're the 2 to beat in this nightcap. All right, well, good luck to you and your late pick 5. I gave out middle pick 4 and late pick 4. We've got 7 stakes races, or 7 turf races, 3 of them stakes races. We've got 11 races on tap, and a wonderful afternoon here at Laurel Park. So come out and join us. And thank you for joining us on Today at the Races. Dave Rodman will be up next with those scratches and changes.
Good luck.